Well, now to entertainment news and Rick's reviews. 17's entertainment expert Rick Bentley joining us in studio with his review of Ghostbusters. Not the first one, not the second, third, fourth. What number are we on now?
720. It felt like 723, yeah, by the time I got done with it.
What'd you think?
Well, you know, there's something strange in the neighborhood, and it's the script for this movie.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Ghostbuster Frozen Empire is the latest in the Ghostbuster franchise. It's the spin-off of Ghostbusters Afterlife, which was a revamping of the Ghostbusters franchise using an all-female. It gets confused, and this movie is confusing. The movie has had 3 different writers on it, and I think they all walked into the room and said, look, I've got 14 ideas, and which ones can we use? And they said, oh, let's use them all. Now, at the heart of it, the Spengler family, plus one, have moved from the the rural setting that they were living in back to New York, and they're living in the firehouse, which is famous from the Ghostbusters. And there's another ghost that's come. It's an evil spirit from the past that's been released because somebody found this magic orb. You know, you've heard these before. The problem is, it's obviously they looked at the last efforts and thinking, nobody really, you know, they were lackluster. Nobody really cared. So what they decided to do was bring back some of the original players. And what we have Bill Murray back, we have Dan Aykroyd back, we have Annie Potts back, and we have Ernie Hudson. So we have the 4 of the original Ghosts, and then the 4 new ones. Too many people, too many cooks, yeah. And so no storyline can be really developed. But they try. They try to do things about parenting. They try to do things about, you know, finding identity, about, you know, teenage angst. I mean, it's just all sorts of things. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's just this sort of vignettes, little cute ideas, like we have Slimer back. Now, that's just a wink and a nod back to the original films, but the segments don't connect to the rest of the movie. Okay. So it's basically, we stop the film, we do a Slimer bit, then we start the film again. And that's the problem I had. There was no, the weird thing about it, they promoted this film with all these images of ice and snow, and it's, you know, it's called Frozen Empire. We don't get to that until like the last 20 minutes of the movie.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, well, the whole movie's weird. Like the structure's just off. The special effects look like stuff that's left over from the last film.
Oh, bummer.
And everybody seems to be sort of sleepwalking through this, except for Dan Aykroyd, who really comes to the thing showing that he's got a lot of spirit left in him, no pun intended, and he gives some energy to the film that it really needed. But then you get Paul Rudd, who with Carrie Coon make up the dullest parents I've seen in film in years. Yeah, they're Rudd, you know, he keeps getting put in films that I keep thinking he's just playing Paul Rudd. And so that's what we have here. So we have a new generation of Ghostbusters who are very uninteresting. We have an old generation of Ghostbusters who are really just sort of picking up a check. And so at the end, we ended up with the latest offer in this franchise that's just lacking from writing to production.
That's really too bad, because when you think Ghostbusters, you think of, we all loved it, right, as 80s and 90s kids.
Oh, yeah.
It was just so cool, and it was funny.
Yeah.
And so I would love to see my kids see it with the special effects we have of today. And you said even that falls flat?
Yeah, it does. And you know, go back and look at those originals, because, yes, it was 40 years ago.
Right.
When they did those special effects. But, you know, they really do stand up. The Statue of Liberty walking through town, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is my favorite.
And
the weird thing is, there are flashbacks to those scenes talking about the original Ghost, and that reminds you, like, oh, those were so good. Now I'm seeing this, and so it really does play against it.
Well, that's too bad. So in the end, what's your rating for it?
You know, Aykroyd picks up a little bit. I'm a big fan of the franchise. I'm going to give it a C-. It probably should have had a D+, but I'll give it a C-.
Okay, well, there you have it. Thank you so much, Rick.
You're welcome.
Coming up next, we're going to introduce you to our Pet of the Week and give you one last look at those empty shelves, sadly, at the Gleaners Food Bank.